Good afternoon and happy Thursday. We are carrying on, of course. I'm sure you've all got this by now with James and the Giant Peach. And they've just started eating the peach, haven't they? Because they're floating in the ocean. Chapter 19. Look, cried the centipede just as they were finishing their meal. Look at that funny thin black thing gliding through the water over there. They all swung round to look. There are two of them, said Miss Spider. There are lots of them, said the ladybird. What are they? Said the earthworm, getting worried. They must be some kind of fish, said the old green grasshopper. Perhaps they have come along to say hello. They're sharks, cried the earthworm. I bet you anything like that they're sharks, and they've come to eat us up. What absolute rot, said the centipede, but his voice seemed suddenly to have become a little shaky, and he wasn't laughing. I'm positive they are sharks, said the earthworm. I just know they are sharks. And so, in actual fact, did everybody else, but they were too frightened to admit it. There was a short silence. They all peered down anxiously at the sharks who were cruising slowly round and round the peach. Just assuming that they are sharks, the centipede said, there still can't possibly be any danger if we stay up here. But even as he spoke, one of those thin black fins suddenly changed direction and came cutting swiftly through the water right up to the side of the peach itself. The shark paused and stared up at the company with small, evil eyes. Go away, they shouted. Go away, you filthy beast. Slowly, almost lazily, the shark opened his mouth, which was big enough to have swallowed a perambulator, and made a lunge at the peach. You can see them there. You can see the sharks. And they're all on top of the peach. They all watched aghast. And now, as though at the signal from the leader, all the other sharks came swimming in towards the peach, and they clustered around it and began to attack it furiously. There must have been 20 or 30 of them at least, all pushing and fighting, and lashing their tails and churning the water into a froth. Panic and pandemonium broke out immediately on top of the peach. Oh, we are finished now, cried Miss Spider, wringing her feet. They will eat up the whole peach, and then there'll be nothing left for us to stand on, and they'll start on us. She's right, shouted Ladybird. We have lost forever. Oh, I don't want to be eaten, wailed the earthworm, but they will take me first of all because I'm so fat and juicy and I have no bones. Is there nothing we can do? Asked the ladybird, appealing to James. Surely you can think of a way out of this. Suddenly they were all looking at James. Think, begged Miss Spider. Think, James, think. Come on, said the centipede. Come on, James, there must be something we can do. Their eyes waited upon him, tense, anxious, pathetically hopeful. Chapter 20. There is something I believe we might try, James Henry Trotter said slowly. I'm not saying it'll work. Tell us, cried the earthworm, tell us quick. We'll try anything you say, said the centipede, but hurry, hurry, hurry. Be quiet and let the boy speak, said the ladybird. Go on, James. They all moved a little closer to him. There was a longish pause. Go on, they cried frantically, go on. And all the time they were waiting, they could hear the sharks thrashing around in the water below them. It was enough to make anyone frantic. Come on, James, the ladybird said, coaxing him. I'm afraid it's no good after all, James murmured, shaking his head. I'm terribly sorry, I forgot. We don't have any string. We'd need hundreds of yards of string to make this work. What sort of string? Asked the old grasshopper sharply. Any sort, just so long as it's strong. But my dear boy, that's exactly what we do have. We've got all you want. How? Where? The silkworm, cried the old green grasshopper. Didn't you ever notice a silkworm? She's downstairs. She never moves. She just lies there sleeping all day long. But we can easily wake her up and make her spin. And what about me, may I ask, Miss Spider? I can spin just as well as any silkworm. What's more, I can spin patterns. Can you make enough between you? Asked James. As much as you want. And quickly? Of course, of course. And would it be strong? The strongest there is. It's as thick as your finger. But why? What are you going to do? I'm going to lift this peach clear out of the water, James announced firmly. You're mad, cried the earthworm. It's our only chance. The boy's crazy. He's joking. Go on, James, the ladybird said gently. How are you going to do it? Sky hooks, I suppose, jeered the centipede. Seagulls, James answered calmly. The place is full of them. Look up there." They all looked up and saw a great mass of seagulls wheeling round and round in the sky. "I'm going to take a long silk string," James went on, "and I'm going to loop one end of it round a seagull's neck, and then I'm going to tie the other end to a stem of the peach." He pointed to the peach's stem, which was standing up like a short, thick mast in the middle of the deck. "Then I'm going to get another seagull and do the same again, and then another and another." "Ridiculous!" they shouted. "Absurd! Poppycock! Balderdash! Madness!" And the old green grasshopper said, "How can a few seagulls lift an enormous thing like this up into the air, and all of us as well? It would take hundreds, thousands." "There's no shortage of seagulls," James answered. "Look for yourself. You probably need 400, 500, 600, maybe even 1,000, I don't know. I shall simply go on hooking them up until the stem, until we have enough to lift us. They'll be bound to lift us in the end. It's like balloons. You give someone enough balloons to hold, I mean really enough, then up he goes. And a seagull has far more lifting power than a balloon. If only we have the time to do it. If only we are not sunk first by those awful sharks." "You're absolutely off your head," said the earthworm. "How on earth do you propose to get a loop of string around a seagull's neck? I suppose you're going to fly up there yourself and catch it?" "The boy's dotty," said the centipede. "Let him finish," said the ladybird. "Go on, James. How would you do it?" "With bait." "Bait? What sort of bait?" "With a worm, of course. Seagulls love worms. Didn't you know that? And luckily for us, we have here the biggest, fattest, pinkest, juiciest earthworm in the whole world." "You can stop right there," the earthworm said sharply. "That's quite enough." "Go on," the other said, beginning to grow interested. "Go on." "The seagulls have already spotted him," James continued. "That's why there are so many of them circling around. But they daren't come down to get him whilst all the rest of us are standing here. So this is what—" "Stop!" cried the earthworm. "Stop, stop, stop! I won't have it. I refuse. Be quiet," said the centipede. "Mind your own business." "I like that. My dear earthworm, you're going to be eaten anyway, so what difference does it make whether it's sharks or seagulls?" "I won't do it." "Why don't we hear what the plan is first?" said the old green grasshopper. "I don't give a hoot what the plan is," cried the earthworm. "I'm not going to be pecked to death by a bunch of seagulls." "You'll be a martyr," said the centipede. "I shall respect you for the rest of my life." "So will I," said Miss Spider, "and your name will be in all the newspapers. Earthworm gives life to save friends." "But he won't have to give his life," James told them. "Now listen to me. This is what we'll do. Right, I'm going to stop there for the day, but I would like you to have a think what the plan might be to help the peach to float. So you've got to have a think. What could they do with the seagulls and the spun silk and web? Have a think and we'll find out tomorrow. Good afternoon, everybody. Have a lovely, lovely evening. Bye.